Hi, everyone. Welcome, good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight as we celebrate the courage and visionary leadership of family childcare educators who advocate for the needs of children and family childcare professionals.
Bienvenidos, buenas noches a todos y gracias por acompañarnos esta noche mientras celebramos el coraje y el liderazgo de nuestras educadoras de cuidado infantil, quienes abogan por las necesidades de los niños, sus familias y aquellos profesionales de cuidado infantil.
Tonight, we will meet two childcare educators, Rebecca Gonzalez and Gladys Contreras, who recently spoke on the national and local stages to express how policy can positively address the needs of children and families.
Esta noche conoceremos a dos educadoras de cuidado infantil, quienes son Rebeca González y Gladys Contreras, quienes recientemente hablaron en los escenarios nacionales y locales sobre la política que puede dar por una forma positiva las necesidades de los niños y sus familias.
We will also welcome the leadership team of All Our Kin as we celebrate educators. This conversation will be translated in Spanish in real time, so thank you in advance for your patience as Maria and Yulissa help us to provide an inclusive experience for our audience.
Y nosotros también daremos la bienvenida al equipo de liderazgo de All Our Kin mientras celebramos a nuestras educadoras. Esta conversación se va a traducir a español a través de María y Julissa, entonces le agradecemos por su paciencia mientras brindamos una experiencia inclusiva para nuestras audiencias.
Thank you, All Our Kin, for creating a space to pause and celebrate the fine work of childcare educators in our community. My name is Candace Dorman, and I will be your host. I'm a wife, a mom, and an entrepreneur. And when I'm not chasing my sons, I'm a business coach where I get the privilege of supporting fellow entrepreneurs as they launch and manage their businesses.
Gracias a All Our Kin por crear un espacio para tomar una pausa y celebrar el excelente trabajo de las educadoras de nuestra comunidad. Mi nombre es Candace Dorman y seré su anfitriona esta noche. Yo soy esposa, mamá y emprendedora. Cuando no estoy persiguiendo a mis hijos, soy una entrenadora de negocios, donde tengo el privilegio de apoyar a compañeras emprendedoras a través del lanzamiento y administración de su negocio.
As a former childcare educator myself, I'm thrilled when I have the chance to stay connected to this community by helping to raise awareness and amplify the voices of childcare providers. And that's why we're here tonight, to shine a light and say thank you to these resilient and visionary leaders.
Como ex educadora de cuidado infantil, me pongo muy emocionada de tener la oportunidad de estar conectada con esta comunidad para poder ayudar a crear conciencia y alzar sus voces. Y es por eso que estamos aquí esta noche, para brillar una luz y darle gracias a nuestras líderes resilientes y visionarias.
But first, I cannot go on without acknowledging what I hope is a very pivotal moment in our collective history. Perhaps like me, last night you anxiously awaited the verdict of the Derek Chauvin murder trial. And maybe the relief you felt was complicated. You were not alone. Guilty feels like justice, but this kind of justice does not bring George Floyd back to his family.
Pero primero no puedo continuar sin reconocer lo que espero que sea un momento crucial en nuestra historia colectiva. Quizás como yo, anoche estábamos esperando ansiosamente el veredicto de Derek Chauvin. Y tal vez el alivio que se sintió fue un poco complicado. Pero usted no está solo. Ser culpable se puede sentir como justicia, pero este tipo de justicia no devolverá a George Floyd a su familia.
True justice means it never happens again. True justice means fixing the system that allows a select group of people to take life with impunity. As a parent, my heart aches for the loss of our children, husbands, wives, brothers, and sisters. If you feel as I do, this loss feels personal, even if they are strangers to us. Please take time to grieve and lean on your community for support.
La verdadera justicia significa que nunca va a volver a suceder. La verdadera justicia significa que arreglar el sistema que permite a un selecto grupo de personas quitarle la vida a otras sin impunidad. Como padre, Me duele el corazón por la pérdida de nuestros hijos, esposos, esposas, hermanos y hermanas. Y si usted se siente como yo, esa pérdida, aunque sea extraña, se siente personal. Y por favor, tome su tiempo para llorar y apoyarse en su comunidad.
There's no easy transition, but I do want to make sure that we acknowledge what has happened, but also look forward given the opportunities that we have in front of us.
Y no es una forma fácil de transicionar, pero de todas formas queremos mirar hacia el frente y mirar también las cosas que nos han pasado.
And now for our conversation tonight. Following 10 months of grassroots advocacy, Congress approved an unprecedented $50 billion for childcare relief this winter.
Y ahora para la conversación de esta noche. Después de 10 meses de abogacía comunitaria, el Congreso aprobó una suma sin precedente de $50,000 millones para el cuidado de los niños para este invierno.
As a result, Connecticut and New York will each receive more money for childcare relief than they usually see in a year. While they decide how to use it, the president and members of Congress will ask for another historic investment to rebuild the childcare sector, making it better than it was before.
Y como resultado, Connecticut y Nueva York recibirán cada uno un dinero más alto para el cuidado infantil que recibían normalmente. Mientras deciden cómo usarlo, el presidente y sus miembros del Congreso pedirá otra inversión histórica para reconstruir el sector de cuidado infantil, para hacerlo mucho mejor de que era antes.
My first guest tonight is Rosemary Goisueta, a business consultant at All Our Kin, an organization that supports and advocates for family childcare professionals. Rosemary, welcome.
Mi primera invitada es Rosemary Goisota. También es consultora empresarial de All Our Kin, una organización que apoya y aboga por los profesionales de cuidado infantil. Rosemary, bienvenida.
Thank you, Candace. Good evening, everyone. My name is Rosemary Goisuera, and I am part of the Oral King Bronx team. I have worked supporting family childcare educators on the business side of the programs for the last 3 years.
Maria? Ulissa. I'm sorry, one moment. There we go.
Okay. Buenas noches, mi nombre es Rosemary Goceta y yo soy parte del equipo del Bronx de Old Queen Inn. Yo he trabajado apoyando a los educadores del cuidado infantil familiar del lado de la parte del negocio por aproximadamente los últimos 3 años.
The All Our King team works to create the policy conditions for family childcare to thrive. We advocate for policies that will increase equitable access to family childcare, strengthen family childcare quality, and increase financial sustainability. This year, with the pandemic, financial sustainability became Oral King's top priority, but equity and quality were never far behind.
El programa de ORKIN, de todos nuestros parientes, trabaja para crear las condiciones de políticas o políticas para el cuidado infantil familiar. Nosotros abogamos por las pólizas que aumentan el acceso equitativo al cuidado infantil familiar y fortalece la calidad del cuidado familiar infantil y aumenta también la sostenibilidad financiera. Este año, con la pandemia, la sostenibilidad financiera se convirtió en nuestra máxima prioridad, pero la igualdad y calidad nunca se quedó atrás.
Our advocacy focuses on increasing federal funding for childcare and making sure New York and Connecticut spend it in ways that benefit family childcare. Our educators wrote letters, made phone calls, participated in Twitter storms, and some of them even showed up at a socially distant rally in New York City last summer. They met with legislators and testified at public hearings for the benefit of the field. We are incredibly grateful to the educators who were part of these efforts and are most grateful to Rebecca and Gladys for their time, energy, and passion. Thank you, family childcare providers. Thank you, Rebecca, and thank you, Gladys.
Nuestra, abogacía se enfoca en aumentar los fondos federales para el cuidado infantil y asegurarnos de que la ciudad de Nueva York y Connecticut gasten de manera beneficiaria para el cuidado infantil familiar. Nuestros educadores escribieron cartas, hicieron llamadas telefónicas, participaron en eventos de meeting en Twitter y algunas almas valientes incluso se presentaron en meeting socialmente distanciado en la ciudad de Nueva York el verano pasado. Se reunieron con legisladores y justificaron en audiencias públicas en beneficio de este programa y campo. Gracias por todo. Gracias, Candace, por su apoyo y por apoyar a los educadores del cuidado infantil familiar.
Rosemary, thank you for all that you do to support family childcare educators. Thank you so much.
Rosemary, muchas gracias por apoyar el programa de educadores de cuidado infantil y por todo lo que tú haces. Muchísimas gracias.
And now we welcome family childcare educator Rebecca Gonzalez, who is also a member of All Our Kin's board of directors. Earlier today, she was selected as the only childcare educator to testify at a congressional hearing called, in their own words, Paid Leave, Childcare, and an Economy That Failed Women.
Ahora daremos la bienvenida a nuestra primera educadora de cuidado infantil familiar, Rebecca González, quien es también miembro de la junta directiva de All Our Kin. Hoy temprano fue seleccionada como la única educadora de cuidado infantil que testificará en la audiencia del Congreso que se llama, en sus propias palabras, licencia paga, cuidado infantil y una economía que falló a las mujeres.
The hearing was convened by the House Ways and Means Committee, which is preparing to draft legislation to rebuild the childcare infrastructure and fund paid family leave. Interesting side note, this invitation literally came out of the blue. Congressional staff saw a video of Rebecca speaking on a panel last year and decided she was the one they wanted to speak. So when you think no one is watching, they are. Rebecca, welcome.
Entonces la audiencia fue convocada por el comité de House Ways and Means, que está preparando redactar un proyecto de ley para reconstruir la infraestructura del cuidado infantil y financiar el permiso familiar pagado. Y una nota muy interesante, esa invitación salió literalmente de la nada. El personal del Congreso vio un video de Rebecca hablando en un panel el año pasado y decidieron que ella era quien ellos querían para hablar. Entonces, cuando crees que nadie está mirando, sí lo están haciendo. Y bienvenida, Rebecca.
Thank you. Muchas gracias.
Rebecca, I'm so proud of you and your work. Thank you for being here tonight.
Y Rebecca, soy muy orgullosa de ti y su trabajo. Entonces, muchas gracias por estar esta noche.
Thank you for the invitation. Gracias por la invitación.
I wish we had your testimony I wish we had the video of your testimony from today, but we don't have it yet. When we do have it, we will post it on the All Our Kin Facebook page.
Y ojalá tuviéramos el video de su testimonio para compartirlo, pero cuando nosotros lo vamos a tener, lo vamos a publicar en la página de All Our Kin.
So Rebecca, what I'm really interested to know, especially that you've been on the national stage in front of Congress, how did it feel being asked to represent the childcare community?
Entonces, Rebecca, ahora
So
que
it feels
estuvo...
great.
Sorry.
Entonces, Rebeca, gracias. Ahora que usted estaba en un escenario nacional frente al Congreso, ¿cómo se sintió cuando le pidieron de hacer representar a la comunidad?
Okay, so it feels great to challenge myself in speaking up for my colleagues and myself about the issues we encounter daily, as we the only ones that know what we go through. To highlight family childcare provider as we stand as essential to the censure during the pandemic to support our children and family while risking our own. So it was great to be there.
Entonces, fue increíble. De verdad siento que fue algo difícil para mí, digamos, porque también tenemos que hablar sobre problemas que solo nosotras como proveedoras podemos pasar y especialmente como somos ya esenciales durante esa pandemia, cuidando y apoyando a nuestras familias y niños y también poniendo en riesgo a nuestras propias familias. Pero sí, fue algo increíble.
That's so true, Rebecca. I'm sorry, why would you encourage providers to speak up and advocate for children and families and the childcare profession?
Entonces, Rebeca, sí, eso tiene mucha razón. Entonces, la próxima pregunta es, ¿por qué se anima usted a los proveedores a hablar y defender a aquellos niños, sus familias y a otros profesionales?
I think it's important for us family childcare providers to speak for ourselves, because everyone makes decisions for us, but only us know what we need, what we go through daily to support families in our community, but what we go through to support our own family. This conversation are happening in Congress, state legislators, and in New York City, where educators are not on the table. Educators should be at the center of these discussions.
Entonces, sí, yo creo que es muy importante para los cuidadores de cuidado infantil representarse, hablar por sí mismos, porque todo el mundo está haciendo decisiones, pero solo nosotros sabemos la necesidad y lo que necesitamos para apoyar a las familias en nuestra comunidad y hasta nuestras propias familias. El Congreso y la legislatura están reuniéndose y acá en New York los educadores no tienen un espacio en la mesa y ellos tienen que ser las personas centrales en esa conversación.
Absolutely. That makes me think, if they don't give you a seat at the table, pull up a chair.
Sí, eso me hace pensar, si no le han puesto en la mesa, coja una silla y se siente.
Well, Rebecca, thank you so much for your leadership and your advocacy, especially during this time. Thank you for showing how we can each use our voice to make a difference.
Rebeca, muchas gracias por su liderazgo y la defensa, especialmente durante este tiempo. Gracias por mostrarnos a cada uno que alzando nuestras voces podemos hacer una diferencia.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me here. Thank you all our kin for their great support.
Gracias por tenerme aquí. Gracias a All Our Kin por su apoyo.
Thank you. And now we bring on Gladys. So we're looking for Gladys. Gladys, there she is. Thank you. One moment. Thank you so much, Rebecca. Okay, here we go. Okay, thanks for your patience. Now, I want to introduce our next guest, Gladys Contreras, who was one of 3 providers selected to thank Governor Lamont for releasing federal funds to quickly respond to the needs of family childcare providers. She spoke to him at a virtual rally attended by several hundred people last week on Advocacy Day.
Y ahora yo quiero presentarle a nuestra próxima invitada, Gladys Contreras, quien fue una de las 3 proveedoras elegida para agradecer al gobernador Lamont por proveer fondos federales y por responder rápidamente a las necesidades de los proveedores de cuidado infantil familiar. Ella habló en frente de un grupo virtual a la que asistieron varios cientos de personas la semana pasada, el Día de la Abogacía de Defensa.
Before we get started, I want us to go right into your video and then we will catch up on the other side.
Antes de comenzar, yo quiero primero presentar el video en la cual Gladys participó y luego vamos a hablar con usted, Gladys.
As a family daycare provider, we take our part in helping the community by providing a safe and educational daycare to the children. During the pandemic, we took an additional role to our community to support essential workers, as doctors, nurses, that they couldn't find any daycare because the centers were closed. So as a family daycare, we were able to receive these children. But in doing this, we had to increase health and safety measures, put ourselves and our families at risk. Before the pandemic, I had a full classroom and I was able to pay 2 assistants to help me with the children. We were helping each other. When the pandemic hit, my daycare was affected for almost 3 months, and myself and the staff had no form of income coming in. Myself, like many other family daycares provided, we're struggling to pay our essential like rent, mortgage, or utilities. I was thinking on my head how I was going to take care of my own family. And for the daycares that they were open, you could hear stories like providers getting sick and infecting their own families. When children or staff get sick, it requires closing the programs for 2 weeks. One of my assistants was unable to work for 4 weeks because she was sick, and then her children were sick, her husband was sick, so they couldn't leave the house. So we were helping each other, despite the fact that everyone helps each other out. Not being to work is a big loss of income. It was a nightmare, I think, for everybody. That is when we had to open our doors and take any business we could get by reducing our tuition or accepting children on a part-time, whatever parents needed. They paid me whatever they could afford because I could share the money with my staff also, all while increasing our cost of cleaning supplies to meet the safety standards provided by the state. This is where the money could make a big difference to our families' daycares. The money we would like to receive would help to recover our small business. Payroll, cleaning supplies, rent or mortgage, utilities, reorganizing our daycare to stay healthy. Assistance low-income families that they were struggling to pay. They were looking for jobs, but Care for Kids, they were not able to help them. So we needed to help them. We needed to accept these children even without money. So wishing that they pay later when they get a job. So we were helping each other. So we were struggling also with the PPP because, like me, I'm not really an expert in computers. So we needed to hire, someone expert. So we needed to pay money to get money. So while we were accepting also loans, but we needed to pay. So the loans I needed to accept is survive the pandemic and to get back on track. So this is my voice for the small daycares. Thank you for your time and for releasing these funds.
What a voice, Gladys. Welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Qué voz, Gladys. Muchísimas gracias por estar aquí hoy. Gracias a ustedes por tenerme aquí.
So Gladys, the same question for you. How did you feel being asked to represent the family childcare community in such a big way?
I feel honored to speak to the Governor Lamont. It was my first time, and talk about our family daycare, our small business, and especially the experience that we have during the pandemic.
La misma pregunta para usted, Gladys. ¿Cómo se sintió después de haber sido escogida y representar la comunidad del cuidado infantil? Pues me sentí muy honorada porque tuve la oportunidad de hablar con el gobernador Lamont y expresar todas las historias que tuvimos acerca de la pandemia y de nuestro proveedores y educadores del cuidado infantil.
I love it. And you did, because someone in the chat said, is that the governor in the top left? And all I watched when I was watching it was looking at him, nod his head in understanding, which means that you really reached him.
Thank you.
Me encantó porque alguien aquí en la cajita de comentario escribió, y ese es el gobernador Lamont. So me encantó porque usted pudo participar y hablar su historia. Muchas gracias.
And like tonight, when we're on stage again, can you tell us a little bit about what was going through your mind when you were done, when the camera went off and you were done with that interview? How are you feeling?
Si pudiera decirnos qué le pasó por la mente después que las cámaras se apagaron, después que usted terminó la entrevista, cómo se sintió, qué le estaba pasando por su mente.
Well, in the beginning, I was a little nervous, and then I start talking, and then all, with my heart, like talking not only my experience, also the experience of the other family daycares that they were telling me. And when I finished, I was like, I don't remember what I said. And then I said, I was hoping that my words, impact the governor and consider not only the big daycare centers, also our small business, our humble family daycares that we support the essential workers during the pandemic.
Bueno, al principio yo estaba muy nerviosa y comencé a hablar y pude expresar no solamente mi historia, pero la historia de otros educadores del cuidado infantil y expresarle al gobernador cómo esto impactó no solamente a los negocios más grandes, pero también a los pequeños negocios. Y cuando terminé, yo dije, ¿qué fue lo que dije? No recuerdo de qué hablé, no recuerdo nada.
It's so funny that you say that, because I think that people think that the only way to get on in front of people and advocate this way is to not be scared, right? And to not have nerves. And if you are on stage, then it means, you're so good at this and you know exactly what to say. And that's not true. I think it's not true at all. And part of being nervous means you're actually going to try your hardest. I'm even nervous tonight. Some of us were talking about being nervous earlier. And I just want to make sure that folks who are listening, there's an advocate in all of us, right? And if there's an opportunity for you to use your voice in a way that makes a positive change for an entire community, it's worth the nerves.
Bueno, sí estoy de acuerdo y me gusta escuchar que sí se sentía nerviosa, porque eso es parte, o sea, el miedo permite eso, pero a la misma vez tener el coraje y de enfrentarse y hablar en público y expresar lo que le concierne y hablar por su comunidad es muy importante. Yo misma ahora mismo me siento nerviosa, pero eso significa que tenemos el coraje de poder abogar por nuestra comunidad y escuché también que habían personas aquí que también se sienten nerviosas, pero los nervios son buenos, es parte de es el coraje que tenemos para enfrentarnos a ese miedo.
And lastly, Gladys, why would you encourage other providers to speak up and advocate for children, families, and the family childcare profession?
Y para finalizar, Gladys, ¿por qué usted le aconseja a proveedores que hablen y aboguen por los niños, los familiares y los proveedores de cuidado infantil?
Well, being in this business as a family daycare is like we are families taking care children of other families and taking care as our own children. So we need to share good and bad things that it happens in our daycare. And we already did. We have a group in WhatsApp, that we are sharing things that happens, experience, asking for advisors for the people that they have more experience. So it's good to speak, to talk, to share, like we said to the children, to express our feelings.
Bueno, yo pienso que es importante y estar en este negocio de cuidado de niños, o sea, nosotros con niños, cuidando a niños de otros familiares importantes. Es importante que hablemos, es importante que expresemos lo que sentimos, decir las cosas buenas y las cosas malas. Tenemos un grupo en WhatsApp. Y ahí en ese grupo nosotros podemos expresarnos y decir esas cosas buenas, esas cosas malas. También, como le decimos a nuestros niños, es para que se expresen y puedan decir lo que sienten. So, nosotros compartimos nuestras ideas y nos expresamos. Y es importante hablar.
Thank you. As a former childcare provider and a parent, I know, just like you know, that children learn by example. And so as we show them how we manage through difficult times as adults, you know, I don't want to say that it's a good thing this happened to us as a community, but it has been an opportunity for us to show our children how to endure and how to be resilient during a difficult time. So thank you for all that you do.
Como proveedora de cuidado, es importante de expresar y los niños aprenden de nosotros. Somos el modelo para ello. Y gracias por todo lo que usted hace. Gracias porque nuestros niños aprenden de ese modelo y aprenden a ser cuidadoso. Muchísimas gracias por todo lo que usted hace.
You're welcome.
De nada.
There we go. Okay. All right. So Gladys and Rebecca, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to get to talk with you. And I can imagine, because I remember when I was doing this, it's so nice to talk to adults for a little while. So thank you both for being here.
Entonces, Gladys y Rebeca, muchísimas gracias por estar acá y lo sé, y eso fue un placer hablar con ustedes y la verdad lo sé, como ustedes, unas veces es muy bueno hablar con adultos por un cambio.
Now, I want to welcome a few members of the All Our Kin leadership team. First up, we have Erica Phillips, who is the Chief Impact Officer at All Our Kin. Erica, welcome. Oh, you're on mute. 1 minute. You're on mute. There we go.
Hi, Candace. Good
Hi.
evening, everyone. I'm so glad that you all joined us here tonight.
Entonces ahora quiero dar la bienvenida a varios miembros del equipo de liderazgo de All Our Kin. Y la primera persona que voy a introducir es Erica Phillips, que es la directora de operaciones de All Our Kin. Erika, bienvenida. Y buenas noches a todos y gracias por acompañarnos aquí.
Wow, it just feels so good to be here in this space with you, Candace, Rebecca, and Gladys, and all of the other All Our Kin educators. You guys are just amazing.
Wow, verdad, es increíble estar acá con todos ustedes, estar con Rebecca, Gladys y otros miembros de educadores de All Our Kin. Todos ustedes son increíbles.
We are in constant awe of your incredible work supporting families and advocating for change.
Y estamos en constante asombro por su increíble trabajo apoyando a las familias y abogando por un cambio.
We know this has been, and it still is, a difficult year for educators. Nothing can replace the losses that many of you have experienced. And we also know that sometimes people find new strengths in the midst of their challenges.
Sabemos que este año ha sido y sigue siendo un año muy difícil para las educadoras. Nada puede reemplazar las pérdidas que muchos de ustedes han experimentado. Y también sabemos que a veces las personas encuentran nuevas fortalezas en medio de estos desafíos.
And as Gladys and Rebecca and the countless other family child care educators who have showed up and showed that no one is better to speak for family child care educators than family child care educators. We
como
want to
ve-
honor Rebecca and Gladys and so many of you for stepping out of your comfort zones and literally speaking truth to power.
Entonces, también quiero decir que como Rebeca, Gladys y muchas de las educadoras infantiles que están aquí, sabemos que no hay nadie más mejor para poder hablar sobre esas cosas, pero para las personas que están trabajando en esa profesión. Y también queremos honorar a Rebeca, Gladys y muchos de ustedes por el trabajo que están haciendo y literalmente hablar la verdad al poder.
Thank you so much for everything, and we celebrate all of your contributions tonight.
Y les damos las gracias, muchísimas gracias, y les celebramos todas las contribuciones que están haciendo esta noche.
Thank you, Erica, for your kind words and your leadership. Say it louder for the folks in the back. No one can speak for us louder than we can, better than we can.
Y gracias, Erika, por sus amables palabras y su liderazgo. Y vuelvo a repetir eso para las personas, porque nadie más puede hablar sobre las cosas de nosotros, excepto nosotros mismos.
Here we go. 1 second. All right, up next, I want to welcome Jana Wagner, who is the co-founder and chief learning officer at All Our Kin. Jana, welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm so inspired tonight. Oh my gosh, I am just so moved by each and every one of you. Thank you so much.
Just
Y
a little
ahora
pause for
quiero,
that.
ahora quiero darle la bienvenida a Gina Warner, quien es la cofundadora y jefe de aprendizaje de nuestro All Kin Group. Bienvenidas, Gina. Thank you for having me tonight.
So many educators have demonstrated leadership this year. It's truly inspiring, and we are celebrating all of you tonight. We want to give a special shout out to Jamila El-Basher, Steffi Martinez, Emanuela Latour, Joanne Johnson, for testifying in recent state legislative hearings. And we can't forget Aliseda Coronado for testifying in front of the New York City Council.
Sí, y esta noche estamos aquí para celebrar todos ustedes, los educadores. Queremos agradecer a Camila El-Basher, Sherry Martinez, Manuela Latour y Joanne Johnson por testificar y en audiencias legislativas estatales. También vamos a agradecerle a Lizaida Corona por testificar en frente del Ayuntamiento de la Ciudad de Nueva York como educadora del cuidado infantil familiar.
In addition, we thank so many of you who we know have met with members of Congress and New York and Connecticut state legislators over the past year, and at least 6,000 others who called and wrote elected officials or attended town meetings and spoke up for family childcare.
Además, queremos agradecer a muchos de ustedes que se han reunido con miembros del Congreso y legisladores estatales de Nueva York y Connecticut durante el año pasado y al menos otras aproximadamente 600 personas que llamaron, escribieron cartas a funcionarios electos, asistieron a las reuniones de la ciudad y hablaron a favor del cuidado infantil familiar.
I love it. Jana, listen, can we get you to record like a good morning for us that we can share with the community? I wasn't ready, but I love it. Thank you so much, Jana, for being here.
Anytime. Thank you.
Gracias, Gina. ¿Podemos grabarte para el programa de la mañana? Me encantó. Muchísimas gracias, Jen.
All right, one more. Here we go. Thank you for your patience, everyone. Thank you so much. How's everybody doing tonight? Everybody good?
Gracias por sus paciencia esta noche. ¿Y cómo están todos? ¿Todos están bien?
Good, good. I was just stalling. Okay, so thank you, Jana, for that. Thank you. Now, closing our event tonight, I want to welcome Jessica Sager, who is the co-founder and CEO of All Our Kin. Jessica, thank you so much for being here tonight.
Entonces, cerrando el evento de esta noche, quiero darle la bienvenida a Jessica Sager, que es la cofundadora y la jefe ejecutiva de All Our Kin. Jessica, muchas gracias por estar acá con nosotros esta noche.
Thanks, Candace. What an amazing evening.
Gracias, Candace. Qué noche tan increíble.
This has been a year unlike any we have ever seen. As family childcare educators, each of you were already doing the most important work in the world, the work that makes all other work possible.
Y como educadoras de infantil, ustedes ya están haciendo el trabajo más importante del mundo, ese trabajo que hace todos los otros trabajos posibles.
Over these past months, you nurtured, educated, and supported children and families during the hardest year of their lives. At the same time, you made your voices heard.
Durante estos meses, ustedes cuidaron, educaron y apoyaron a niños y sus familias durante el año más difícil de sus vidas, y al mismo tiempo hicieron sus voces alzadas y fueron escuchadas.
Because of you, we have a real chance to build a new childcare system, one where educators are valued and compensated for their important work. Each of you was part of this effort, and it is our honor to partner with you as we move forward.
Y gracias a ustedes tenemos una oportunidad real de construir un nuevo sistema de cuidado infantil, uno donde las educadoras son valorizadas, recompensadas por su trabajo. Cada una de ustedes fue parte e hicieron ese esfuerzo posible, y es un honor estar acá con ustedes.
As the writer and activist Barbara Deming once said, we are all part of one another. Well, tonight, we are all our kin. Thank you.
Yulissa? We're waiting for a translation.
Oh, sorry, I was on mute. Como dijo la escritora y activista Barbara Deming, todos somos parte de otros, y esta noche todos somos All Our Kin.
Jessica, thank you so much for your leadership. We are all served when our community has access to high quality, safe, and reliable childcare. Family childcare is not just an essential service, it is a foundational cornerstone in a functioning society.
Gracias, Jessica, por tu liderazgo. Todos recibimos servicios cuando nuestra comunidad tiene acceso a un cuidado infantil seguro, confiable y de alta calidad. El cuidado infantil familiar no es solamente un servicio esencial, es una piedra angular fundamental en una sociedad de funcionamiento.
So Rebecca, Gladys, the team at All Our Kin, thank you and so many of you who are watching, thank you for using your time and your talent and your voices to lift and serve our community. We are so grateful and we honor you tonight.
Rebecca, Gladys y todo el personal de All Our Kin, gracias por permitir y apoyar a nuestra comunidad, por levantar a nuestra comunidad. Muchísimas gracias.
Thank you to the All Our Kin staff who made this event possible, particularly to Christy Balka, the Senior Policy Director, who does amazing work coordinating advocacy opportunities for childcare educators.
Gracias a todo el personal de OR Kin y especialmente que hicieron este evento posible, particularmente a Christine Balka, que es la directora de pólizas, quien hace un excelentísimo trabajo para coordinar y abogar por las oportunidades y los educadores de servicio infantil.
Thank you to our wonderful interpreters, Maria and Yulissa. You help us create an inclusive environment and an inclusive experience for our community. Thank you.
Gracias a nuestras intérpretes, María y Yulissa, quien también ayudaron a crear un espacio inclusive para nuestra comunidad.
As for me, it is my joy and my honor to serve our community in this way. I am grateful for the work that you do to take care of children and families, and I know that we could not carry on without you.
Y de mi parte, ha sido un honor, un gozo servir a nuestra comunidad de esta manera. Estoy muy agradecida por el trabajo y por ayudar y proveer cuidado a los niños, familiares, porque yo sé que sin ustedes no podemos hacer esto. Muchísimas gracias.
From all of us, thank you and good night.
De parte de todos nosotros, muchísimas gracias y buenas noches.
Thank you to our sponsor, All Our Kin, who serves the childcare communities of Bridgeport, Danbury, New Haven, Stamford, Norwalk, and the Bronx, New York. All Our Kin trains, supports, and sustains community childcare providers to ensure that children and families have the foundation they need to succeed in school and in life. Through their programs, childcare professionals succeed as business owners. Working parents find stable, high-quality care for their children, and children gain an educational foundation that lays the groundwork for achievement in school and beyond. To learn more, visit them at www.allourkin.org. I'm your host, Candace Dorman. Until next time.